Hello. Welcome back to Life After Plus One. I'm Leanne, your podcast host and your single parent mentor and coach. And today I want to talk about something special that everyone wants. Love. Everybody wants to find love. And the thing is, when you become a single parent, it is not uncommon for so many people just to give up hope or think that they're never going to find their person. Is it possible to even find your person? Is anyone going to want to love you? All these things are just common thoughts that go through your head when you're a single parent. So today I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about finding love. Welcome to the Life After Plus One podcast, where we turn life's lemons into delightful lemonade. Get ready for inspiring stories, uplifting conversations, and all the tips and tricks to rock your single parent journey with style. I'm your host, Leanne, and it's time to embrace the adventure of Life After Plus One. So let's dive in. So let's talk about finding love, because it is one of the things that when you become a single parent, it's more often than not one of the first thoughts that people start thinking about and start worrying about after they've got through the shock of everything and the breakup and everything that's happened, and they've accepted, okay, this is what's happening. The next thought process becomes, well, who's going to want to date me? Am I ever going to find someone? Am I good enough? Will anyone like me? Is anyone going to want to love me? Who's going to want me with kids? Who's going to want me if I've got my kids full time? All these different things go through people's heads. Quite often, when people are thinking this, it's still when they're right in the thick of going through their breakup. And in a way, it is quite sad to see, but really, the reason why people are asking this and the reason why people are thinking this, because quite often the ones that do have this thought process are the ones that have been in those long-term relationships. And usually they feel this way, or they have these questions because they don't know their life any other way. Their whole adult life has been with a partner. And this is not an isolated incident. This is something I see all the time. And because when you're going through life with a partner, this is how you know to live life. This is how you've gotten by. You've had your routines, you've had your schedules, you've had someone there when you needed them. Even if it wasn't the most healthy relationship, you knew there was always somebody there to help you, not to help you, or whatever role they played in your life. This person was always there. Maybe it might have been some emotional support. Maybe it might have been just someone to talk to, financial support, any support in any way. You've had somebody there. And then all of a sudden, you're out in this big wide world all on your own. You're like, okay, well, I guess I need to fill that space with somebody else. I guess I need to start thinking about finding a new partner and what I'm going to do. How am I going to move forward? I need to find a new partner so I can do that. But this is where so many people get stuck and get caught up in that cycle, which never ends up well, because they think that finding a partner is just going to make it better. Finding a new partner is going to make them happy. Finding a partner is going to make it all butterflies and roses, and their ex is going to be jealous of how great they are and how amazing their life is now. But here's a little news flash for you. You do not want to go and get a partner based on what your ex may or may not think of you. You do not want to get a new partner based on relying on them to make you happy. The thing is, and this is what needs to be really put out there in the world, there is not enough education on this topic when it comes to dating after divorce or dating after a long-term breakup. And that is when you go through a breakup like this, especially when it's been the majority of your adult life, if not all of it, you need to step back. You really need to step back and just process and reset and allow yourself time to accept what's happened. And I totally understand that the large portion of people out there do not like to do that. There is a large portion of people out there in the world that don't like to do any kind of healing or self-reflecting or looking at what they can do better, which is really self-reflecting, or just doing anything to be a better person. Anyone that does that, anyone that takes these steps is usually the minority, and quite likely you guys, the ones that are listening to this podcast, because you guys are here because you want to do something to better your situation. You want to do something to better your life as a single parent. And that's why you're here, to get that support and get those steps that can slowly help you to get there. However, if you are getting through this on your own and you're not getting any one-on-one support and you're just using podcasts and some books to help you get through it, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you don't have someone in your corner to kind of redirect you and give you that little nudge and say, well, are you sure that's what you want to be doing? It is easy to get off track. It is easy just to lose sight of the big picture. And what I mean by that is when you might be home alone on the weekend and your kids are at the other parent's house, or when you might be going out coming towards the end of the year, it's festive season and you might be having Christmas parties and New Year's coming up and all those big celebrations, and everyone's got their partner, their husband, their wife, and you're like, oh, here I am on my own. This isn't fun. And then that's when you can fall into that cycle of thinking that you need to get a partner because you need to fill that gap. You need to get a partner because you don't want to be left out. You need to get a partner because that's what you need to have fun and fit in with everybody else. Because really, when you meet a partner, you want to meet someone when you're at a place in your life when you're feeling good. You want to meet a partner when you know exactly what you want. You want to meet a partner when you're happy and you've got rid of all that negativity and the drama from your past breakup. You don't want to be holding on to that. So when you meet someone new, you're meeting them at a time when you're mentally and emotionally ready to meet someone new. And the thing is, when you're in that headspace of, will I ever find my person? When am I going to meet my person? The question shouldn't be, when am I going to meet my person? Will I meet my person? The question needs to be, am I ready to meet my person? Have I done the work on myself in order for me to be the best version of myself to meet the right partner? Do I know what I want when it comes to meeting a new partner, or am I just hoping for the best? These are the things you need to be focusing on. And that's the thing when it comes to dating. When people are out in the dating world, they're focusing their attention on the other person. And they've got all these questions that they're thinking when they're out in the dating world, such as, will they like me? Will I be good enough for them? Will their kids like me? Will they fit into my world? But realistically, when you're in the dating world, it's not, will they fit into your world? Will they like you? Will their kids like you? It needs to be reframed and focused on you and what you want. And this is where so many people go wrong in the dating world, focusing on what this potential person who they haven't even met yet, what they may want. But what about you and what you want? So when you're dating, you need to be asking yourself the questions, will I like them? Will they be good enough for me? Is this what I'm looking for? Will I be happy with them being around my kids? It's about you. Will they fit into my world? Because I'm not looking at changing my whole schedule. I'm not looking at changing my co-parenting schedule. I'm not looking at changing my job. I'm not looking at moving locations. Will they fit into my world? That's what your priority needs to be. I mean, hey, maybe you are willing to compromise on some of these things. But if these are things that you are not willing to compromise, then it's not the question, will they like me? It's the question, will you like them? Will they fit into your world? Because if they won't, then that's not your person. And that's a big thing when you're out there looking for love. Everyone has the potential of finding love. Everybody does. But some people, more often than not, end up self-sabotaging their process in finding love because they're going in focusing on the wrong things, such as what I've just said, focusing on what this person they haven't even met yet, what they may want from you. But really, when you're confident in yourself, When you've got rid of all this hurt and everything from the past and you know, they're not my person, that's when you can be at a place where you know that, okay, if they're not my person, then that's okay. I know that my person is out there. But when you're in the headspace of thinking, will they like me? That's when you're more inclined to make someone want to like you. That's when you're more inclined to change things about yourself to make someone want to be with you. That's when you're more inclined to be in a relationship that you feel may or may not be right, but let's try do what we can to really make it work. But part of you is seeing all these red flags, but I want them to like me, so let's try and make it work. Now, you're probably not saying that to yourself, I want them to like me. Maybe you are, but deep down, that is what a lot of people do. It's that whole fear of rejection. It's that whole, I'm not good enough. See, I'm never going to find my person. So you get into this relationship with someone that you know is not right, or you see it when you're in a relationship, but you make it work because you want them to like you. It's this whole vicious cycle. I can go on for hours about this topic, but when you keep going into this pattern, it's like you're putting a Band-Aid over a broken heart. And then you go back into the dating world and you've gone, it hasn't worked out, it's gone to the shit. Let's put another Band-Aid on top of that again. Same thing. Go out, meet someone, or you're just going through the apps. Maybe you haven't even met them. You're just chatting and they've just all of a sudden ghosted you and that's upset you. It's pissed you off. Boom, let's put another Band-Aid on that. That is why there is so many wounded souls and broken hearts and emotional baggage in the dating world when you're older, because so many people out there don't want to look into the hurt that has been created in them from previous breakups. So many people think that she'll be right, I'll be okay, we'll just get on with it, time will make it all better. But the next minute, you're in the dating world and you're going through these same problems, or you're scared to open up again because you don't know if you can trust them. You're scared to open up again because you don't want to get ghosted. You're scared to open up again because you don't want to get heartbroken. But realistically, if you're not opening up to somebody, emotionally, in a way that you're letting someone in, then you're not being your authentic self. You're not showing them who you truly are. So if you're going into the dating world all guarded and closed off, ask yourself this: are you truly ready to be dating, or are you dating because you think you just need to fill that empty gap in your life? Are you dating because you feel like you need someone coming up to the end of the year and all these festive parties and end of year parties, and you're like, I need to have a partner. Everyone else has got a partner. Because I can tell you now, these are the wrong reasons to be dating. When you feel good in yourself, when you feel happy with where you're at in life, you don't feel the need to force these situations. And as I always say, it's never about giving up on love or giving up hope. And I would never, ever tell anyone to give up hope on finding love, because that is not what I'm here for. Yes, I'm here to help you as a single parent. Yes, I'm here to support you through this stage of single parenting. But I'm also here to support you and help you and guide you through that next step in finding that love that you're after. But to get there, you need to get rid of all this baggage and hurt that you're carrying from the past. Now, for some people, it may just be hurt from one relationship, but that one relationship could have been 20 or 30 years of hurt and pain that you've been holding on to. And now you've got all this resentment and frustration and anger that you haven't let go of. And even though it's hurt and anger and frustration from your ex, you're still holding on to it. So as soon as you jump into the dating world and meet someone new and they, boom, do something similar to what your ex has done, it's triggered you and you react the same way to them as you would to your ex. And is that right? No, but that's what happens. That is why it's so important to really self-reflect and look inwards. Because yes, you will find love. Yes, your person is out there. And you can quite easily go into the dating world and find anyone. Because let's be honest, you can go onto an app and there is hundreds, thousands, I don't know, I've never really counted, but there's so many people on there. So if you really wanted a date, you could get one in seconds. Is that someone that you're looking for? Highly unlikely, because you don't just want to settle for anyone just because they're the first person there for you. But I will tell you this, and it is a massive eye-opener. And I'll never forget the moment that I really had this aha moment when I realized it. When you're not in a place when you're healed, when you're not in a place where you are feeling comfortable about being single, that's when you're willing to date anyone that comes your way that gives you attention. And it's not being rude or nasty by me saying that. It's being honest. Someone gives you attention. You're like, oh, okay, they're not someone I would have swiped on, but let's have a chat. Let's talk to them. And you're more inclined just to kind of, yeah, sure, they're giving me attention. Let's go for it. Let's see where it goes. However, when you have taken that time to really self-reflect, when you have taken that time to really work on yourself and know what you want and know what you're looking for in a partner, that is when you don't settle. And then someone messages you and it may not be a message that you really like, and maybe when you first started dating, you would have been, sure, let's chat. Let's see where this goes. But now you've taken the time to work on yourself. Now you've taken the time to really think about what you want. And this person has approached you in the same way they did maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And you're straight up, no, I don't like your energy. You are not what I'm looking for. And you don't even engage because you know what you want. You know you don't need to settle. You know you don't need to ignore the red flags. You know you don't need to lower your standards. And this is where I was getting at with this point. This is where it's a really big eye-opener. When you take that time to really work on yourself and really self-reflect and really take the time to heal, that is when you notice the dating world and your potential dating partners, it decreases massively. Now, for some of you out there, you may be familiar with this. You may have gone through this and you may be like, yep, I'm there. I get what she's talking about. There may be some of you that are thinking, well, fuck, that's not what I want. I don't want the dating world to get even smaller. It's already hard. That's not what I'm looking for. This is why it's important to really remember you do not want to be everyone's match. And this is why when you are everyone's match, you end up in this vicious dating cycle because you're going for people that are not what you're looking for. You're settling for people that is not aligned with what you're after. You're seeing these red flags and you're like, they're a nice person, but they're doing this. If they're a nice person, but there's things that you don't like about them, then why are you overlooking that? And this is the thing, when you have worked on yourself, when you have really, when you are at a better place in yourself where you're not willing to settle, the dating world does greatly decrease because you're not just settling for anyone. And yes, that is a really hard pill to swallow. And I really remember this clearly. And I thought, what is going on? I remember, because I've been single parenting for 12 years now. And I remember when I first started dating, I'm like, I could get dates anytime. I could go on dates nearly every weekend. And whenever my daughter was at her dad's, it was easy, no problem. But now you can't even get a chat with anyone. And the thing is, it's not that there's something wrong with you. It's that you're just not settling for anyone. You know what you want. You know what you're looking for. And that is the thing. When you're looking to find your person, when you're asking yourself, where's my person? Will I ever find love again? Yes, you will. But if you keep settling out of fear, you're wanting that quick fix. It's like anything in life. When you take the quick option, it's never the best option. Anything you want in life, I kind of mumbled that one up, but anything you want in life, it takes effort. Any quick fix option is never going to give you the best results. Anything in life. And it's so easy to get distracted with what you see right in front of you. Well, why should I wait? Why should I say no when they're asking me out on a date? Why would I say no? And that's where people fall into the trap. Well, yeah, okay, I may as well give them a go. And then you start dating and then it's like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have. Now I see what's happened. Now I'm stuck in this relationship and I don't know how to get out. And then you end up heartbroken again. This is the point. When you keep giving in to these people that you're not wanting to date, but you keep giving in because you think to yourself, I don't want to be single. You think to yourself, I'm ready to meet someone. You think to yourself, I don't want to be alone anymore. So you give in only to have to go through this cycle once again. Slap another Band-Aid on it and then let's just jump out in the dating world and then hope for the best again. It just goes over and over again until you actually stop and you step back from it all and look out from the outside looking in and going, fuck, I get it now. I really get it. And that is a massive eye-opener to actually really take the time to step back. And when I learned this about how your dating life really changes when you get yourself in a better headspace, it is a real aha moment. And that's when I was dating and actually taking the time when it didn't work out. And even if it was just someone that I met for one night, we went out for dinner or something, or maybe it was a bit of a longer relationship that lasted a couple of months. And then at the end of it, if it didn't work, whether they ended it or I ended it, doesn't matter. I would always step back and say, okay, what can I take away from this? What can I learn from this? Because it's so easy to just keep going back into it, keep going back into it. Slap that Band-Aid on, just keep going. Let's put another Band-Aid on. I'll be right, just keep going. Let's keep going. But at the end of it, that's when you crash and burn and get to the point in saying, well, fuck it, I'm done. I'm not dating anymore. I'm giving up on dating. I'm never going to live with someone. I'm never going to get married again. And that's when you get in that headspace of being totally over it. And that's why there are so many people in their 40s, 50s, maybe even in their 30s that are just over the dating world. Because they're going in, taking all their emotional baggage with them, getting the shits why it's not working because you're still caught up in the past. You haven't let go of the stuff you're holding onto from the past. You're going into something new, wondering why it's not working. It's broken up. Boom, you've just added more baggage to what you already had. And then you've got into another relationship. That didn't work. Boom, let's put some more baggage to all that as well. Do you hear what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? It's not about just going out there and hoping for the best. It's not about just going out there and thinking, this has got to be the one. This has got to be the one. And we do it, don't we? You do it. You go out, okay, I'm going to make an effort. I'm really going to dress nice this time. I might even get my hair done. I might buy a new outfit. This is the one. I really feel it. And then next minute, the day after the first date, you'll get a text. Lovely to meet you, but unfortunately, you're not what I'm looking for. And then you start to think to yourself, well, fuck, why do I bother? Why am I trying for? Or then you start the thoughts. See, I'm never going to find someone. No one's ever going to love me. Never going to find my love. Never going to find my person. You will find your person, but you're not going to find them when you're just settling for anyone and everyone. You are not going to find them when you're just putting a Band-Aid on, hoping for the best. Self-reflect. And it's not about, when I say self-reflect, it's not about doing anything woo-woo. And as I mentioned at the start of the episode, there is a large portion of people out there that will not touch anything to do with the word healing, anything to do with the word letting go or moving on. They do not want to touch it. Either they're scared, and because that's true, I know there are people out there that are scared to do it because they're worried about what it might bring up. But let me tell you, they're the people that need it the most, because if they're scared about what it's going to bring up, then I can tell you that is telling you they have shit that they need to work on. Anyone that is avoiding healing, avoiding dealing with anything, avoiding having to talk about things, they're the ones that just keep slapping a Band-Aid, slapping a Band-Aid, slapping a Band-Aid. Let's hope for the best. Let's hope that this person I meet is going to put up with everything that I've got carrying with me. Let's hope that this person is not going to question me. Let's hope that this person that I meet is not going to talk about anything from my past, because I'm not going to go there. And I can tell you now, that is not a healthy relationship that you'd want to be in if someone is like that, because there are a lot of people out there like that. And quite often they're the ones that just don't want to talk about anything. That is someone that is really lacking emotional intelligence. And when you're dating as an adult, as a single parent. You want someone that's got emotional intelligence. You want someone that is willing to do the work, that is willing to self-reflect, that is willing to be a better version of themselves. Do you really want to go out there and find your love and that be someone that's still in this most toxic, unhealthy relationship with their ex? That is still angry at everything, that is still bitter and pissed off, that is still holding a grudge. No one wants that. No one wants to get caught up in a relationship where there is still non-stop fighting with their ex. Now, I'm not saying you need to be best friends with your ex. Not saying that at all. But if you can be amicable, it makes a world of difference when you meet someone new. And it makes a world of difference when you meet someone new and they're amicable with their ex. Because when you're in the dating world and you've got someone coming into your world and they've got drama with their ex, I can guarantee you at some point you will probably get caught up in that too. And if they've got drama with their ex or you've got drama with your ex, I can tell you now, you are still holding on to hurt from that breakup, or they are still holding on to hurt from that breakup. There is still anger there. There is still resentment there. There is still frustration there. You or this person, whoever is still caught up, you are still emotionally invested in that relationship. And people say, well, I'm not emotionally invested. I've let go. I don't care about what they do. But the next minute, they're getting angry. Yet next minute, they're fighting. Next minute, they're getting pissed off. Next minute, they're sending 1,000 text messages. Well, I can tell you right now, if that's where you're at, you are emotionally invested. Because when you're not, you are not caring or worrying about what your ex is doing. You are not engaging in what your ex is doing. You are not stooping to their level. You're just like, okay, whatever. You want to be dickhead, so be it. I'm not joining your party. But anyway, I went on a bit of a tangent then, but you get where I'm coming from. Everyone will find love. Everybody's person is out there. The thing is, you need to make sure you're taking the right steps to actually find this person. And most importantly, when you come out of a relationship, that should not be one of your first thoughts. I understand why it is for a lot of people, because they're not used to doing life on their own. It is a scary thing. Well, it's not so much a scary thing. It's unknown. It's foreign territory. When you're used to being with a partner your whole adult life, you just think, well, I guess this is what I should do. You just think that's the norm. It's like when you get a job and you get fired. Your first instinct is quick, straight away, get a new job, which is normal. You need to live, right? You need money. And that's the same thing that people think with relationships. When a relationship ends, well, boom, I've got to get another one. This is what you do. No, it's a little bit different. You don't. You need to work on yourself. And as I just said earlier, it's not about being woo-woo. It's not about walking around lighting sage sticks and going to sound healing, even though that's some of the things I do. I am a bit woo-woo sometimes, but I love that. But anyway, you don't have to be like that. It is about just taking the time to self-reflect and going, okay, what can I do differently? I don't want to go through this shit anymore. I do not want this drama anymore. What can I do? So my biggest tip for anyone out there that is thinking, am I ever going to find my person? Will I ever find my person? I want you to remember, don't focus on them. What are they doing? Will they like me? Focus on you. Because when you feel good in yourself, you know you don't have to change anything about you for somebody to like you. You know that if someone doesn't like you for who you are, then that's okay. That's not your person. Because you see it a lot where someone meets someone new. It's like, oh, they said I'm a little bit too heavy, so I should go and lose weight. Oh, they don't like my hair this color. Or they don't like this, or I should change this, or I should move. And they're changing all these things about their life just to accommodate this person's superficial needs. Now, as I said, I'm all for compromising and do what you can to make a relationship work. But when it comes to changing everything just to make somebody else happy, are they liking you for you, or are they liking you based on some sort of Pinterest board model that they want you, or Instagram, I should really say. But anyway, are they expecting you to change to this superficial vision board expectation of what they're wanting in a partner? Because that's not what you want. Because realistically, we all know looks fade. Hair color changes. Weight changes. It's what you see. It's the kind of person that they are that you want. And if you cannot emotionally connect with this person, then why are you with them? And this is a sad thing I see so often, and I shouldn't say it like this, but it is true. And this is another thing that really makes me upset when I see this. When people can't have conversations with their own partner. And I just think, why is this even your partner if you cannot talk to them? This is a big thing of any relationship, even a friendship, even someone in your family. You need to be able to communicate. This is a huge factor in making a relationship work. And this is a thing, you see it so often on social media and everywhere these days, people asking everyone else their questions except for their own partner. It's like, why are you not asking them this question? Why are you not asking them what they need from you? Why are you not asking them what they need in the relationship to make them happy? Why are you not telling them what you want from the relationship or what you want from them? Because Facebook is not going to fix your problems. Only you can. And that's the biggest thing. There's so many things to think about when you're looking for a partner. It's not just going out there and thinking, yep, this will do. It's not just going out for a job and just applying for anything. You might be, say, a qualified hairdresser, but let's just apply for a truck driving job because that's just what's available. Would you do that? Highly unlikely. Same goes for dating. You're not just going to date someone and then all of a sudden this person that you wouldn't normally date, let's just go for them because they've shown interest and let's just hope for the best. You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it with a job or with anything else in life. So why do you do it with people? Why do you do that with your emotions, especially when you have kids? Start saying no to people if you know that's not what you're after. If you're not comfortable to say no just yet, then don't engage. It is okay. You don't owe anybody an explanation. And it's not ghosting. It's ghosting when you're dating and all of a sudden you just fall off the face of the earth. That's ghosting. When you actually been in contact, when you've actually been dating and you're seeing each other. But when you're just chatting on the apps and it's not someone that you're interested in and you're not comfortable to talk to them and say, no, this is not what I'm after, then just leave it. Don't force yourself to engage in people or engage in conversations that are not for you. You're not here to make other people happy. You're here to make yourself happy. And this is the big thing with that whole people-pleasing mentality. People think, oh, I can't do this because they're going to get upset. I can't speak up because they might get upset. I can't say this. They might get angry or they might not like it. Or what about you? What about your feelings? What about what it's doing to you? People-pleasing mentality is only pleasing everyone else but yourself. I can guarantee you now, everyone that's out there that focuses on pleasing people, I bet you they're not happy in themselves. I can guarantee that now. Because they're too busy pleasing everyone else, I don't want to upset them. They're not going to be happy. And they're the ones that take on all these jobs and all these little tasks and all these errands and all these school activities and everything else. And then at the end of it, they're like, well, fuck. I'm sick of the one always putting my name down. I'm sick of the one always volunteering. I'm sick of the one always helping out with this. I'm sick of the one always doing carpool. I'm sick of the one always doing this. Well, why are you always saying yes? Why are you always saying yes? Start saying no. Start looking after yourself. And again, I've gone off on a bit of a tangent, but this is one thing that I just really want to put out there. And I just really, I don't even know how to explain it because I just want more people to understand this message that really everything in some way, shape or form, when it comes to you and who you are and what you want in life and finding that love, it all comes down to you and knowing your self-worth and believing in yourself and being confident in yourself. Because those people that are people pleasers, they're not confident in themselves. Because if they were, they'd be confident enough to say, no, actually, no, you know what? I'm not going to put my name down for this event. Or actually, no, you know what? I'm sorry. It was lovely to meet you, but you're not my person. And it's actually quite empowering to do that. It feels good. It's not about being nasty, but it's nice when you actually, it's a weird way of saying this, but it is actually nice when you can go out on a date with someone and at the end of it, you think to yourself, they were nice, but it wasn't for me. And then you can actually text them and say that to them. It actually feels really empowering to send someone a message and say, beautiful conversation, lovely to have met you. You seem like a beautiful person, but unfortunately, we're just not on the same page. And I can guarantee you, when you word it nicely like that, they are not going to come back and be an arsehole. More often than not, they'll be like, thank you very much, I appreciate that. Or, yep, I feel the same. More often than not, they'll probably say the same thing. I feel the same, because they're not going to say, oh, I really liked you and I'm now heartbroken. Because that's embarrassing for them, which, I'm not trying to be rude, but that's where most people would probably just agree with you. But that's my point. You're not going to get yelled at for speaking your mind. Anyway, I promised myself I'd do a shorter podcast episode today, and it kind of hasn't gone down that path, has it? I just talk way too much. I sometimes think to myself, how do my podcast episodes get so long? I go into it sometimes thinking I'll do a 15, 20-minute episode, and here I am, nearly 35 minutes into it and still chatting away. So I'm going to wrap it up on that note. But please remember, when you are looking for love, don't look for it for the wrong reasons. And I know that sounds weird, and I know some people just don't understand that term when you say for the wrong reasons. They're like, what do you mean for the wrong reasons? Of course I want to find somebody. Everybody wants to find love. Of course they do. There's nothing wrong with that. But you don't want to find love because you're just scared to be on your own. You don't want to find love because you think you can't do it financially on your own. You don't want to find love because you think that it's going to be harder on your own. Well, let me tell you this. It is harder on your own. But just with anything you do in life, the longer you do it, the easier it gets. Plain and simple. The longer you're a single parent, the easier it is to do things on your own. And there are many things that I've had to do on my own, which I'm like, never thought I'd be doing that. Like, I remember there was a time when my washing machine just decided to leak everywhere. I'm like, what the hell is happening right now? And here I am on my hands and knees in my laundry floor trying to figure out what's going on, and I fixed it. So proud of myself. I thought, shit, here we go. I'm going to have to buy a new washing machine. But nope. I managed to get it sorted. And these are the little things you do and you learn to just to figure out as you're a single parent. The longer you do it, the more you make it work. Because you're like, I've got no one else to rely on. I've got to do it. So just remember, you do not want to fall into these patterns of finding people that are just not your people. Everyone will find love. But the most important thing when finding love, learn to love yourself first. And I cannot emphasize that enough. Learn to love yourself first. And it's not about just looking in the mirror and saying, I'm beautiful, I'm this. You don't have to be fake about it. It's about just really believing in yourself. Actually, no, I deserve better than that. Well, no, I'm not doing that. Sorry, thank you. It's about believing in yourself, knowing what you deserve, believing you deserve better, believing you deserve to have that good life, that amazing life that I'm here to inspire you all to reach. Believe that. And that's the thing, that if you don't love yourself, how can you expect somebody else to love you? If you don't know your worth, how are you going to expect somebody else to know your worth? And it's one thing to go into a relationship where you've got these wounds and you may be a little guarded, and you might meet someone who is super supportive and go, that's okay, I get it, I understand that. And, you might be sabotaging it in a way, or you might be doing things to shut them out, or just walking away when it gets too hard and not dealing with anything. And at the start, that might be fine. They might be very respectful. Okay, I get that. You've had a hard past. I'm here to be, I'm on your team. I'm here to support you. I'm here to help you out. But the thing is that going to last forever? Because quite often there gets a point in the relationship where someone's like sick of them walking out. You know what? I'm sick of you walking out. Why can't you just talk to me? Because that happens. It comes a point in the relationship where they're sick of having to pick up the pieces because you're constantly shutting them out, or the other person's constantly shutting you out. So that's what I'm getting at. The start of the relationship, when you meet someone, they're usually very flexible of these things. When you've got these wounds from the past and you've got this hurt and you don't want to deal with things. But then when you're with someone, the more you're with them, the more they get to the point, it's like, okay, enough's enough now. You need to let it go because this relationship's not working. And that's quite often where a lot of relationships fall apart, because you've got all these wounds and you're not dealing with them, and you're making this new partner have to deal with them. And they get to the point of, it's like, okay, I've had enough. I can't fix this. And it's not anybody else's job to fix you. And it's not your job to fix anybody else. And you can support people. You can support a partner, you can guide them, you can direct them. You can't force them to change. You can't force them to be a better person. You can't force them to get coaching or therapy. It's their choice. You can guide them, you can direct them, you can support them, but you can't force anyone to change. And this is what happens so often in the world of relationships. When you see something or when you're in a partner and part of you thinks they're a nice person, and all that but side that you see that you think that you don't like, you think, I can change that. I can make them be a better person. But realistically, the only person that can make them change is themselves. They need to have that little aha moment in themselves and go, okay, fuck, I can't keep going like this. It's like when I had my aha moment many, many years ago when I was dating and I realized, okay, I need to step back. I need to actually look at what I can do differently. And that's all part of self-reflection. And that's all part of growing. That's all part of being a better version of yourself. And that's when you start to find your love. When you be that better version of yourself. When you are confident in yourself. You're happy where you're at. You get the picture. Have I been a bit repetitive? I'm sorry. But that's just me trying to get my message out. I am really passionate about wanting people just to be more aware of this, more aware or mindful, I should say, of what they're getting into when they just go into relationship after relationship after relationship after relationship. And this is why you've got that endless banter on social media, people saying dating is fucked. Dating apps are shit. It's not the dating apps are shit. Nothing's wrong with the dating apps. It's like someone made a comment saying, what's wrong with the dating apps? People keep using filters. I'm like, it's not the dating apps putting filters. It's the people that are using it that are doing the filters. It's never the app's fault. It's the person using it. Anyway, just my little thought for the day. So focus on you. And that goes with anything in life. You need to focus your attention on you. When you're wanting to better your life, when it comes to finding a new love, when it comes to bettering your co-parenting, when it comes to being a better parent, you need to focus inwards. What can you work on in yourself? And that's what it's all about. And that's what I do here as your coach. So if that is something that resonates with you and you're like, okay, I get what she's saying. I have been slapping a Band-Aid on it all these years and I need to rip those Band-Aids off. Then let's have a chat and let's rip those Band-Aids off together and work out what is going on and what are you covering up with those Band-Aids, because it's time to get that out and it's time to work through that so you're not just constantly slapping on another Band-Aid and another Band-Aid and another Band-Aid. Let's work through this together because I love doing this. I love actually people just get into that place and it's like, yeah, I get it now. And it all comes down to taking that accountability. No one likes the blame game. Anyone can say or do anything, whether it be your ex, a new partner, someone down the street, someone driving past you, whatever they say or do, let them do what they want to do. What matters is how you choose to react. And that goes with anything in life. And when you're not in a good headspace, that's when you often don't react the best way. And that applies with your ex. That applies in the dating world. You don't always react the best way and handle situations the best way when you're not in the best headspace. When you're not thinking clearly, when you're still carrying all that hurt and emotional baggage from the past. So let's let that go. Let's have a chat. If this sounds very familiar to you, I do have a free intro chat in my show notes. So jump on and let's work through that. If you're not following me on social media already, come over and say hi on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you are. Come over to my world and say hi. Shoot me a message if you have any questions. And also, if you're loving the show, don't forget to give me a little review. Give me a little 5-star. Give me your feedback. I love to hear what you're thinking, what your thoughts are. If you got anything from this episode, let me know. I always love to hear from you guys. So thanks again, guys. Thank you, everyone. And until next week, I'll be in your ears then. Thank you for joining us on the Life After Plus One podcast. If you loved what you heard today and looking for some further support, then jump onto our website, lifeafterplusone.com. Plus, don't forget to check out our Instagram page for further resources and inspo. You can find all the links in the show notes. And remember, you're not alone on this path. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. And in the meantime, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep exploring your amazing life after plus one.